I only received my diagnosis a few years ago, so I'm still on that journey of understanding and coming to terms with what being autistic fully means. And that means there's a good deal of mourning for the younger me who didn't know how his brain worked. But today I thought I'd try and be a bit more positive. So here are 6 things that I have learned that I like about being autistic. Number 1, monotropism. I've made a living all my life from being good at very specific, some would say weird, skills. I even wrote a book about it. So the autistic trait of monotropism, of being able to hyper-focus on something, often a special interest, is what underpins pretty much my entire career and artistic output. I always said that what I was good at is learning things. And what I now realise is that my ability to do this, to get into that flow state of specificity and growth, is part of my neurodiversity. If I didn't have a type of brain that was good at that kind of thinking, well, then I wouldn't have most of what I do have. If I hadn't got obsessed with juggling, I wouldn't have started performing. If I hadn't started performing, I wouldn't have lost my stutter and got more confident. If I hadn't got more confident, I wouldn't have been asked to be in a show where I met the girl who is now my wife. And if I hadn't had her encouragement to pursue my other special interests, well, then I wouldn't have the artistic life I have now, and I wouldn't have written that book. So, yeah, pretty happy about all of that. Number 2, routine. So I have a few jobs. Mostly I'm a performer, but I'm also a writer, a photographer, and apparently I make YouTube videos as well. I have a lot of jobs, but what I don't have is a boss. I've always been a freelancer, and to do that you have to create your own structure for getting all the things done that you have to get done. And luckily for me, my autistic brain absolutely loves structure and routine. The clothes that I wear, the way my days are segmented by task, my beautiful, beautiful to-do lists. Being my own boss means I have a manager who really understands neurodiversity. Number 3, obeying the rules. Now, look, I've seen it said that autistic people have a strong adhesion to rules. And I have to say, that is not a thing for me. I am absolutely unable to stop myself from analysing the logic and effectiveness of a rule, working out where it came from and why, and then determining if it's worth following or not. And if it's not, I very much don't. When I was at school, I started to realise that it was making me unhappy. It was full of irrational and unfair systems and punishments. I wasn't learning much there, so I started leaving halfway through the day, literally just walking out. And I think I was right to do it because the fact is, I experienced 0 pushback for this. They either didn't notice or they didn't care, and either way, my internal logic suggested that I was better off finding somewhere quiet to read and teaching myself what I felt like learning. I didn't skip school to be cool or to get up to mischief. I skipped school because it made logical sense. Number 4, justice. I think hyper-empathy is linked to what we just talked about with rule breaking. The trait of justice sensitivity, of really feeling when things don't seem right or fair, is, at least in my brain, part of the same mindset as breaking rules when they don't seem logical. My inability to not analyse the reasoning behind a decision means that if there's some kind of inequality or dishonesty at play, I will notice. And more than that, I'll feel it vividly enough to say something. Now, this can be painful when we live in a world so full of daily doses of deliberate, vindictive injustice, but I'm going to frame it today as a positive. Because you know what? The world needs people who notice when things suck and shout about it. Number 5, punctuality. If we schedule a date, I will be on time. Who am I kidding? I'll be early. I will be much, much too early. When I had my autism assessment, the clinician welcomed me into her office and she said, "You found us okay?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Some people who turn out to have a positive diagnosis tend to get there an hour early just so they know where we are and they can retrace their steps, and that takes away some stress, to which I had to admit that I had made a complete practice journey yesterday. Could have just ended the assessment there and then. Number 6, knowing myself. It's interesting. I think a lot of people never really feel the need to examine how their brains work. The habits and processes, the comforts and discomforts, the yums and yucks that live inside their heads. And I get it. If it sounds like the engine's running okay, then you don't feel the need to slide under it to check everything out. But maybe people who do get under the engine, even if it's running fine, get a better knowledge of how the whole thing works. For me, I know that the way being autistic has given me the opportunity to constantly self-examine has absolutely been a positive in terms of me being a more stable, contented human. To learn about which things trigger which other things, to know how to best curate my days so that my outside life fits better with my inside life, to understand what to stay away from and what to gravitate towards. To understand how my specific brain works is to better understand how I work. I guess this is a form of acceptance. Knowing my strengths and my weaknesses as an autistic adult is itself a strength. Like Socrates from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure said, the unexamined life is not worth living. Now, I actually think every life is worth living, but a little inward thought every so often, checking in with yourself, seems like a healthy thing to do. I hope you're feeling healthy. Hope you're doing okay. I'll see you next time.